We're here to give you the game so you don't get your shot blocked. We made the mistakes so you won't have to. Free game.
I wanted to go to U of H. That was just for me. Again, it was an exposure thing. There weren't the grandiose discussions of Stanford or Michigan or Yale or whatever. Over in Mo City, it was you go to the college in Houston that you can get into, or you go somewhere to some other school that's a couple hours away. That was sort of the gravamen of your experience was, here is where you can go.
I would say the strategy of your mom was crazy because being that you go to U of H, you go to TSU, you go to PV, you can come back home too easily. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you run out of food, you run through your food, you can come back home and eat. You need to wash clothes, you can come home and wash clothes. But me, just attesting to the fact that, staying away an hour and a half was too far for me to come back home every single time something went wrong. So going to SFA, that's about 3 hours?
It's about 2.5.
2.5.
2.5, yeah.
I feel like that's just far enough to make you have to struggle and figure things out on your own. So again, kudos to mom. But
so beyond it being far enough from Houston to be convenient to get to, she was moving to Louisiana after I graduated. She moved to Louisiana, and I think SFA was an hour from the new crib where she was moving to.
Oh, wow.
And so it was literally if you go there, then I still got hold to you.
I gave mom too much credit. She still.
Oh yeah. So listen, she wasn't willing to let go. No. Because I was too fresh. I literally 6 months ago burritos at HEB, and so
not the burritos.
It was burritos. I at college.
Come on now.
So I already paid my debt. I paid my debt. So I was still close. To her. But an hour, 15 minutes, I think it was. It wasn't close enough to where I could do it all the time, where she could do it all the time. And so she literally told me, you can't go to University of Houston because all your friends, the friends who I got jammed up with at HEB, the friends who I hung with otherwise, they're still in Houston, and you just won't be able to maneuver that space. That's what she told me about myself.
Right.
I disagreed, right? I was like, I can focus. I can do this thing I've never done before and do it well. Not being able to pull that from anywhere. But she was like, you won't be able to do it. And so this is where you are going. And she didn't say it that way. It was more or less like, this is where you're going. I mean, that's basically what she said. And so that's where I went. And it was her decision. And even after I graduated and all that good stuff, she pats herself on the back for putting me there, right? Because she was like, yeah, you had a good time.
So how did you like SFA initially?
Yeah, so I was good to be out of her prison. Her house was strict. It was, I couldn't have chicks over to the house. I couldn't be out super late at no age, really. Maybe when I was 17.
I think there's most of us who can have chicks over to the crib.
Man, I had friends who could. And I just used to be like, what am I doing with my life? And it was different, but these were my close friends. And so I was like, that's how I'm gonna be when I become a parent, right?
So you think
I'm not gonna do my kid like that. I'm gonna let you do what I'm gonna let you experience the world. That's what I told myself. And that's how my friends were living, and that's how I wanted to live. But her house didn't run that way. And so when I got to SFA, that was the first time I had real freedom. She let me go out prom night, and I stayed out till 5 a.m. one other night, and she didn't trip. Those were the 2 nights where I could do what I wanted to do. When I got to SFA, obviously, I'm an adult, right? I got a crib, this dorm room, right? And so at that point, I became an adult. and she had no say so over my life, in my mind, and that's kind of how I approached SFA. I was happy to be there when I first got there because it was a taste of freedom that I hadn't had before.
Right. Tell me about the BB gun story.
The BB gun story. Oh man.